And I can?
Yes, have a quorum.
I need to switch my mic off here so it won't echo. There. He's a block away.
Okay.
See, okay. Yes, I'm trying to. There's that echo. Sarah, do you know what that echo is? Hold on.
Call this meeting to order. This is the agenda of the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the RGC-4B EDC. Today is Tuesday, January the 4th, and it is 5:32 p.m. We're in Commissioner's Chambers here in City Hall. We'll start with the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Ms. Perez for the Pledge of Allegiance and Mr. Lopez for the invocation.
Lord, we ask you to please continue guiding us in the right direction here in the city of Rio Grande. We ask you to please, keep your blessings upon us. We thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon our families and upon our Rio Grande city with all the development that's going on for all the people of Rio Grande. We ask this in your name. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you so much. Moving on to item number 2, roll call, final quorum. Ms. Garza?
Yes, Mr. Ramirez?
Here.
Ms. Perez?
Present.
Mr. Lopez?
Present.
Dr. Margo? Here. Ms. Flores? She's present. And Mr. Villarreal?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Item 3, public forum. Anybody sign up for public forum, Ms. Garza?
No, sir, not today.
Okay. Item 4, approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
Mr. President, if there's no changes to the previous meeting minutes, I so move to approve the same.
Second.
I got a motion by Mr. Lopez, second by Mayor Villarreal. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Again, same motion. Item passes. Item 5, financial report. Ms. Guillen.
In your packet, you've got the expense and revenue report. We're at 25% of the fiscal year. The report starts on page 8 of 23. With revenues, I know you don't see the revenues that have come in so far. It's $298,976. There's just, they don't get inputted as easily as the expenses that go out using Encode. But if you look at the sales tax report further down on page 14, you will see what has been deposited for the month of October, November, and December. The economy obviously slowed down a little bit in October. The allocation that's highlighted in yellow is based on the sales made in October by our local businesses reporting their taxes monthly. And compared to last December's allocation, we see a difference of about $5,000. Year to date, there's about a $1,000 difference. You also have the historical maps that we include in your packet every month. I don't know if Leonel would like to add anything to what he has shared with us in this report. Leonel?
Not really. We have received what we budgeted for, not an increase. We weren't expecting an increase this year. It's very unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen with the sales taxes, but at least we're not in a loss. I think we've received $1,000 less than what we have received last year for the first quarter, which is pretty accurate from where we were. If the numbers stay there, our budget was balanced, so we should be fine for the year.
Okay.
And as we budgeted conservatively this year, that keeps us in line with what we have received so far. Let the record show that Dr. Marco is joining us virtually.
He joined us at 5:35.
Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Margot. How you doing? Yes, he can't hear you. Okay.
He probably didn't hear.
Okay, that's fine. Are there any questions or comments at this time? Or any questions from Mr. Cantú on the financial report? Overall, the city is doing very well. EDC is doing very well as well. As you all notice, the growth here is obvious. We've been waiting for many years for this project to start up, and now we see the development taking off. So we expect a couple more businesses to pop up here pretty soon.
Yep.
So we're excited about that as well. Okay, so again, good job to all the staff and everybody involved. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cantú. Moving on to item number 6, presentation by RGC Port of Entry Administrator, Mr. Andres Guerra. I assume that's him sitting in the audience there.
Yes.
Ms. Guerra?
Yes, Mr. President, board members, we have invited Mr. Andres Guerra to join us. I know, Mayor, you have been in his company in the past where he has presented information to the Chamber of Commerce as well as international members of the border that have joined us in these meetings with the Chamber to discuss border trade and commerce. And as we continue to see acceleration in imports at our port of entry, and of course with our partnership with CBP to try to increase that to further economic development in our community, I am welcoming Mr. Guerra to our meeting to tell us a little bit more about what's going on at our port of entry and how we can help bring additional investment to our community. Mr. Guerra, I know we had invited you in the past and there was a conflict in your schedule, but we appreciate you coming out and joining us this evening. We do have a presentation that Mr. Guerra has provided, so we'll put that one up on the screen for you, and just let us know when you need us to flip the slides. It's the other one, Melissa.
Which one? The one down here?
No, go back.
This one.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So, Mr. Guerra, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening.
If you don't mind, I would like to take off my mask. So
That's fine. Sure. Whatever makes you comfortable.
I'm with you.
I just have once again, my name is Andres Guerra. I'm a local native guy from here to college, thinking I'd never be back. Being assigned to the Port of Roma. I've been in the Port of Roma for approximately 25 years. Pretty much went up the ranks. Never involved in the commercial side of it, really, besides being an officer and working kind of as a resume builder, to be very honest with you. But I did get to see, and I'll reference a lot back to Roma because that's where we started. We did get to see a major decline, going from approximately 100 trucks a day down to 23. So when I took over as port director 3 years ago, that was one of the things that I focused on. That's when I started working in the city of Roma and trying to get that vision across of how important the commercial environment is to the community. I think at the time, we still had a lot of bickering between Roma and Rio, to be honest. In the grand scheme of things, putting them together and along with the whole valley worth nothing compared to Laredo. So what we do in one day from Roma all the way to Brownsville, they do it in 4 hours.
Wow.
To give you an idea. But still, a lot of money tied back to commerce. I wasn't too sure exactly what the EDC was wanting, so it's a very general overview with some numbers leading towards commerce. So whoever's going. Oh, one thing I forgot, as of April of this past year, Rio Grande Port of Entry was placed under my direction, so that's why now I have local responsibility. So if any of y'all have not been to the Port of Entry, a very general overview. One of the things that's probably one of the strongest holds here for this facility is the footprint. A really large footprint for the amount of traffic we get. With the capabilities of more expansion, that area between where you see the dock the dock area backed up and over there. The bridge owner does have a lot of plans in his master plan, developing cold rooms in that area. We also have the capability of opening all the way to 3 lanes, which is pretty good for the size of the port. Coming about March or April, we will be one of the ports that will have probably the newest technology when it comes to non-intrusive inspection, our X-ray system. We will be one of the few ports that will have it pre-primary, meaning that by the time the truck reaches us, we already scanned it. We already have an image. More than likely, we will be having those images reviewed by the Port of Brownsville, which is already having a command center set up to be reviewing the images. So by tablet, we'll be receiving the green light or red light per se when it comes to the image. Really nice, well-designed port of entry compared to Roma that is very landlocked. And I've got other slides with some of the potential growth that they're projecting as far as the bridge opening.
Mr. O'Gara, I had a question for you before we continue. So I understand that the port of entry here in Grande is privately owned, and the one in Roma is owned by the city or the county? County. Are all the port of entries across the state pretty much the same? They're owned by different entities, or?
Pretty much. The only difference, we have very few ports of entry that are CBP owned. For example, Falcon Dam is CBP owned. Los Alamos is CBP owned.
Okay.
Antelope Wells in Columbus, New Mexico, and a lot in the north. The difference, to be very honest, is when it's a CBP-owned facility, we have so much more liberty as far as the agency. So everything we do at a port of entry, we have to go through General Service Administration, GSA. When it's a CBP-owned facility, CBP just puts the money out. That's why you probably see better buildings in CBP-owned facilities, even though we have waited 10 extra years to get a new building. But when they go in there, they just gut it all out and redo everything. But as far as private, true private, and this area is Progreso and Rio Grande City. That are private. But it's very common for just so that we're where we lease it from the county. Where we pay GSA the rent, they lease it from the county. Real general overview as far as the hours of operation, we are back to normal. Back to 7 to 11. Initially, it was 7 to midnight. The reason I made a change is because if you look at the numbers from 11 to 12, non-existent, it's a scheduling nightmare. Our officers are union-based, so those are the things that I had to work around. So even though the CFR has it listed from 7 to midnight, we're operating from 7 to 11 right now. Cargo operations Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, and Saturday from 10 to 1, and Sundays 10 to 1. Good. We got 3 inbound lanes and 2 pedestrian lanes, 2 cargo lanes that as of today, the bridge owner will be installing booths for something we call unified cargo that I'll get further into. And we will have the capability to be operating both lanes at one time. Right now, we're using 1 lane for CBP and 1 lane for Mexican customs. That's one of the points that you really have to take from this.
Mr. Guerra, going across the border, let's say to Progreso or here Miguel Alemán, which I've done in the past recently, but I guess for clarification purposes, do you need a passport to go, or can a driver's license suffice?
A driver's license will suffice regardless. Back in 2001, we got into a program called Winning Compliant, which requires either a passport card and requires or a passport. But being if you're a U.S. citizen, a driver's license, a birth certificate will suffice. More than likely, you may be referred in to establish the status. Right. But we're definitely not in the business of returning U.S. citizens and illegal permanent residents back.
Does that apply? Well, and again, my follow-up question would be like for a child. I think a younger child does not have a passport. I just haven't had the need to get one for her. She's 13, but if she will go across with us, birth certificate, it gets suffice, yes.
One thing that I recommend that we can do in the future, and it's a good campaign for somebody like the EDC, is where we can schedule, except right now because of COVID, we're still not fully well back operational with the consulate, but we could actually do a passport, I can't remember the exact name, but basically what it is, Department of State will come to the port of entry, and for that one day, any individual that wants to cross and does not have a passport card, they're not going to give you the passport, they'll give you the passport card, but they usually do it for free. And whoever enrolls that day will get that passport card for free. But like I say, right now the consulate is so far behind with issuing visas and stuff. So
we have a handout, so
Yeah, we have a
follow
handout.
along until we can get
Kevin
that.
knows what's going on with you.
I think that the next slide here, we have some crossing data. We've got data that can go back all the way to 96. I kept it rather simple: pedestrians, vehicles, and trucks. Take a look at what we were at, for instance, in 2016 and what happened to us in 2020, 2021, because of the restrictions of travel are really low. For somebody like you as an EDC, keep one thing in mind, and I know it doesn't help you all, I would understand. When you go out and request some type of retail interest from different companies, international travel does not assist you. However, remember that on average, every vehicle that you have there has 1.8 travelers in it. So if I have 1 million cars, that means that approximately almost 2 million more individuals came into your retail area because of the port of entry. We take a look at the cargo numbers. For the most part, they started going back up as of April to today. We've done really well. Some of the changes that we made, for example, the past month of December, we had a 42% increase in Rio Grande City with a 70% increase in produce itself.
Here.
Right.
In Rio Grande.
When we compare December of 2021 to 2020, we had an overall growth of 42% and the produce 71%. I was just blown away by the numbers. I knew we were growing, I just didn't know at that level. Our number one growth, and besides produce, is building materials. It continues to grow very, very well. That is a lot of growth. 40% is a big number, big jump.
Sheet rock. You said 70% in produce?
For the month of December, when we compare last December to this one, 71%.
And building materials was 40%.
No, overall.
Overall.
I'm sorry?
Looking at sheet rock panels, is sheet rock, we import a lot of sheet rock from Mexico.
A lot. 90% of your stuff that you see at Home Depot is imported by, or is manufactured by a company named Panel, which is your number one commodity. That crosses right here. What's rather interesting about the brokers, so to give you a little more background, U.S. brokers can transmit through any port of entry in the United States, whether it's air, marine, or land. I can be a broker in Laredo and be transmitting entries in Boston. For Mexican brokers, they're only allowed 4 crossings. So I can only do Miguel de Camargo or San Bounce, per se. I can't do Laredo, I can't do Calexico. The majority of the building products of the sheetrock are brokers from Laredo, not brokers from here, but they're utilizing the port of Grande City. That's going to come into play really well, and I know Mayor has heard this one from me before. The commercial zone starts in Stark County and goes all the way to Livingston County, meaning I can send a Mexican truck 100% all the way from Grande City, Roma, all the way to Raymondville, and I'm good. But I can't send it west to Laredo, because Zapata County is not part of the commercial zone. They opted to be removed when they created NAFTA. For whatever reason, they opted to be removed from it. So after 2 years of working with Judge Rathman and trying to convince them to want to be back into the commercial zone, Supposedly, Congressman Cuellar will be announcing something very soon. I think that'll be a game changer for this area because we will be able to, as everybody thinks of cargo north and south, but now we can send it east and west.
East and west.
We can take advantage of some of the advantage of these crossings and facilitate more trade for the bigger areas.
So you mean crossing over, crossing over whether it's Roma or Rio Grande, crossing over Rio Grande, you can send them west to after
this is
Well,
done.
you work for DOT. It's a DOT law. It's not a CVP.
right.
And it's not a 19 USC. It's a Title 42. So those are the top 5 commodities for Rio Grande City produce. Will be in the top. It is a very expensive shipments. We will hit shipments that can hit up to $50,000, $60,000 a trailer load. Sheetrock, that's more on the volume of it, because that is probably by number the largest. A lot of flat rolled steel. The next one is everything you see in the yard of Verlesa, which is for your green energy farms. All that tubing, and then everything else that falls behind it. Next slide, please. This is an interesting slide. I've been told it because I love produce, but we take whatever comes in. But this is a rather interesting slide put out by Texas A&M University, which projects our growth to 2025. I tend to disagree a little bit because we're looking at somewhat of the historical data and they're a little bit behind. But one thing to note is Texas is the green checkered area. That's what they're projecting for the growth. The red is Arizona, the blue is California, New Mexico. I think the growth for Texas is still going to be more than what that's showing us. But one thing to take from this slide is that the growth is coming to South Texas. And why South Texas? When they built that bridge in Durango, el Espinazo del Diablo, it allowed all the product from the Pacific come across into South Texas up to the East Coast, which is your biggest market for produce, 3 days short because of that bridge. That, to me, is going to tell us that our produce, instead of being projected to grow 5 to 7 in the whole general area, will be closer to 10 to 12 every year growth. So I think for the future, this is what's going to be for South Texas. It's going to be produce.
My son works for HEB and he's a produce manager up in Del Rio. And he says that a lot of his produce, you know, it's increasing because I'm looking at the numbers and you're listening what he told me. Hey Dad, I'm selling the hell out of the avocados and I'm selling a lot of cilantro and stuff that comes in from Mexico. So
that is the reason why you know, growing up, you go to HEB, you probably only found oranges back then during the season. Now we find oranges year round. Of course, cheap labor in Mexico. They're getting really, really good as far as being able to cultivating and producing a very nice product. By the way, I do welcome you all to visit the port any day so you can see some of the products we get and so you can see the quality.
can we taste it?
New
New Year resolution, more fruits.
This is exactly where that's going to go. Why not Nogales anymore? Nogales used to be the #1 crossing land border for produce for Mexico. Then FAR took over. Is because the market of the demand of the East Coast is way larger than the West Coast. So a lot of the clients that we have do have a presence in Nogales. They do have presence in California, but they're, instead of growing, they reduced their operation in the West and moved it all this way.
It makes sense.
Right. So I'll get further what we're lacking here as a community. Go ahead, Matt. And these are just general over since 2012 all the way to 2021. The growth that's been seen. We did have this dip in 2020. Part of it's going to be COVID. Part of it is going to be why we're here, not the other board director. But as you can tell, 2021 was pretty good, even though we were there for about 8 months. Of 2021, our fiscal year starts in October. Go ahead. this is a slide that I really like, and I love the one from Roma. I know Mayor's seen it several times, the one from Roma. But this is a real good leverage tool for me to request funding, staffing, resources. How expensive is a commodity that we are processing? As you can see by the graph itself, Rio's been kind of stagnant when it comes to the value. So that's one of the things that I want to start working and bringing in higher dollar merchandise to be able to request, because I use these numbers. I'm data driven for everything we do. I use this. Reason being, the more overtime I put in my officers, the better operations I run, the more they're likely to get expended to work for you all here. Go ahead. Unified cargo. Roma and Rio are the only two border crossings in the whole nation that have 100% of the commodities being processed through unified cargo. What does that mean? That means the truck never stops in Mexico. Mexican Customs is co-located with us at the port of entry. Besides that, we're the only two crossings that are not of all the merchandise that arrives to be processed through unified cargo. For our port of entry is trying to do a pilot program. Unfortunately, they're going to focus on a few companies, LG, some of the bigger fish out there, and everybody else has to be doing the normal. This is a difference maker for these ports of entry, because if you're into the produce business, you're only going to offload once. You're going to offload on the U.S. side only once. You're being offloaded by U.S. companies, which is a lot faster, they're a lot more careful with the product. And we average about 35 minutes when we have Mexican Customs inspecting along with us. Because the thing with produce, it's very labor intensive because the agriculture guys have to look at it. So instead of offloading and we get there, I'm sorry, wait an hour or two on the dock, come over here, then we gotta offload it again, wait an hour or whatever for the inspection, 35 minutes from down the road. This is something we cannot afford to lose. And this is going to be the future as far as for additional growth for the port of entry. Last year we had 75 different entities visit the port of Roma. 74 started utilizing the port because of this. One thing we do focus is on being efficient. It's like everything else, customer service goes a long ways. And that's what we're banking. So right now our clientele here, our clientele over there, unfortunately they didn't make their investments in the far area, whether cold storages or cold facilities. And that's what we're trying to do. Bring in these companies that continue to utilize these crossings, that we eventually lead them to build something here and ship out from here. Another thing, I like to focus on companies that are pre-certified by CBP. Mainly, most of your HEB products, we get a lot of. These are humongous companies that meet all the prerequisites of the safety standards, security standards with CBP. So it's a less risk for us. So of course we're going to get expedited process. So we're trying to get more and more of that. Go ahead. Some of the challenges that we have here for this crossing is that we don't have a direct route from Monterrey. When you look at the map of Mexico, there's really three veins coming in from Monterrey out: Laredo, Reynosa, and Roma. So that's a little detrimental for Rio, for the mere fact that they will, why would you have to cross an additional 15 miles or drive an additional 15 miles on the Mexican side to cross through here versus Roma? However,
I have that answer.
I want to get the answer.
The reason you want to cross into Rio Grande is because you have more access to your infrastructure here, your highways, than you do in Roma. You got to wiggle your way around all that other stuff. Here we're going to get the State Loop 195, you get out and you go straight up. No? No? That's not
Size
it?
of the import lot.
Oh, ours is bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the difference between the two. The wiggling around doesn't bother the size.
Wow. because we met with you a couple of years ago,
Right.
with Eddie, and we were talking about that. You were trying to expand your lot there.
The size of the import lot makes a difference. Now, one advantage that Rio Grande City has is that if I'm utilizing the far port of entry and I get fed up of waiting 6-7 hours in line, well, I'd rather do the 1 hour drive through here, cross back, do another hour back, and still save 4 hours. 4 hours on your e-log drivers, that's a lot. And I'll be probably San Antonio if I did that versus still being in line in far. That's what we should be focusing on getting. That's the small picture. The bridge does not have a dedicated cargo lane. The same lane that we use for cargo trucks is the same lane we're using for for private vehicles. That's one of the things I'm pushing hard on the bridge on. We need that additional cargo lane to be able to.
Here.
Here. Yeah, over there, we're gonna push it through the county if they ever fix the suspension bridge as a pedestrian walkway. Good luck.
Eddie gave him the whole thing there for the suspension.
Number 3, the border security issues. I know that's where the mayor got out and started visiting with us. That was a big one. That was a big one because when you get companies, for example, we had Kia Motors come and visit. The very first question they asked, what about the safety on this inside? They're not worried about corruption. They're not worried about any of that. They're worried of being caught in the middle of a territorial battle of the cartels. Unfortunately, we were labeled really bad in this region. I met with several of the alcaldes and alcaldesas already, I believe 4 or 5, where we're trying to unite and have an additional presence, whatever presence of law enforcement they can have out there during the day hours when this traffic is going forward and back, will help ease out these owners. The transport companies are okay, they figured a way how to get around it, but it's really hard to convince Bimbo Bread, Corona, one of those, to say, well, I'm going to go through this route that is notorious, where there's children not notorious of border violence. That's a big thing we need to look at. How can we get these communities to assist us in additional security presence to give that ease, that comfort level to these corporate owners to allow the merchandise to come through? Luckily, we haven't had any issues at either crossing with the border violence issues. And then, of course, the COVID, the travel restrictions, and that hampers down a little bit. We did do a couple with the city, a couple of vaccination clinics to get our drivers, our brokers, things of those nature vaccinated, since they do a lot with us. As of now, we're probably at about 3,000 or 4,000 that have been done here. Excellent. And around 3,000, high 2,000s in Rome. We're already doing school teachers and kids, everything else.
Yeah, we've got one scheduled tomorrow here in EDC.
Why is that important? Because that's going to facilitate them to start crossing, doing business again, the shopping, the commuters, through the port of entry. No end in sight. We're Title 42, which just gives us the authority to be able to go to the bridge and allow somebody to be vaccinated. But I think eventually it's going to go away. It's just a matter of time. These spikes that we have and we're going through right now don't help the situation. I know it's a very broad briefing. Are there any questions for me?
What's the capacity at this bridge?
So the capacity of the bridge, in my opinion, can handle 600 trucks easily a day. 600.
And where are we at right now? So there's still room.
We're averaging a little closer to about 220, 230. When I took over, we're averaging about 150, 160. But you're not even doing that.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of potential in that. As far as we dedicate that, I get the whole picture of how retail is great, how retail brings a lot of things, but I honestly believe that the commercial side is what brings a real big money into the areas. Just drive down with the Terry, or one of these days you're driving down the radio, take Mines Road, and almost go from the World Trade Bridge all the way to Colombia, and it's just warehouse after warehouse after warehouse. It's just, the creation of jobs that comes from this industry is just unbelievable, unbelievable.
So really, I mean, we're below the actual full capacity, which you said is about 600. So ideally, if there was even, because sometimes you get this talk about building a new bridge, there's no reality to that because we're not even reaching the 600 capacity, correct?
Correct.
Now, if we were to be at 600, 700, 800, then that would be a legitimate argument to even consider the idea, of another bridge, right?
You're right on target, because what you want to do first, and for CBP, follow suit, because remember, you go open another bridge, that's a lot more personnel, a lot more staffing, a lot of everything that we have to do, and those don't come very fast. CBP tends to build a facility and then worry about it a year later, and then when we're in trouble, staffing-wise and stuff like that. But I'll say the same thing I told the community of Roma when we first started. It was always because we need a new bridge. We need a new bridge. Saturate what you have. That would lead you to cause issues with your regular, normal travelers and cargo, and that's going to lead you to the next phase.
When was the last time we had, you said how many trucks a day?
We're averaging about 220, 250 a
When
day.
was the last time you had more than that, or
Like 2 weeks ago.
that you had 300 or?
No.
You've never hit 300?
No.
So the expansion,
very steady growth, but it's little by little.
so the expansion that the owner did here several years ago is holding up to what is needed.
Yes.
So he kind of forecasted in the future, there's going to be more trucks coming in.
Yeah,
now,
the projection, he planned it out pretty well.
You can tell because you're saying that you can cross 600 trucks per day. We're doing 1/3 of what it can do.
Correct.
So
now,
the autopista that goes from Reynosa all across, to Monterrey, is there something that, does that one hit with Roma too? Does that?
no, we have Ruta 54.
Ruta 54 goes to Roma. And then what do we have coming into Camargo? La Dos. And that one's not safe at all.
Honestly, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm going to tell you why. 95% of the cargo that we're getting in Roma is coming from Reynosa, all along La Dos, into Roma.
And why not Rio Grande?
Yeah, why not Rio?
Why take the extra 15 miles?
Because
I did a lovely job over there.
Well,
And that's why him being here now is going to make a
I will
difference.
say though that what I noticed in visiting with Mr. Guerra and having him give me the tour at the Roma area is he has a big focus on efficiency. So the plan for the bridge and its size and capacity is also, you can also attribute that to the efficiencies that he's created to make things run smoother and faster for those
I'll say
projects.
this much, so it's a work in progress, and that's why I'm really excited to see that we moved 42% compared to December is December. I am now here, starting today, I'll be here for 3-4 months. So this whole process of, so the big plan, and this is not public, but the main plan of this is somewhat of a merger, where Roma will be the area port, with Rio Grande Port of Entry being under Roma. Meaning I will be the port director of both, but I could be considered an area port. The same way it took Rio Grande City a long time to become its own port of entry within the CFR, it's basically the same thing to reverse it and make it across from Roma, which may not be the greatest thing to do. So right now, we've gone through a lot of teams, administration, and headquarters, so it's all up in the air. So right now, we're still pretty much just going at it. You're in charge, take over, but nothing is completely drawn in where it's merged. So it's going to be merged as far as the leadership of it, but you're still gonna have your employees over here in Rio and my employees in Roma, but they're still gonna be under my direction. That's the plan. So right now, I'm working out of Rio for the next several months, so I can really take a good assessment of where I really need to tweak it to make it better.
Do you think that we can attract more truck traffic?
Definitely.
We have a plan to do a loop of 755 right there. I'm sure the mayor has spoken to you about that.
I visited with him.
And if we, you know, push that to get it done as soon as possible or within the next couple of years at least, do you think that the trucks will start coming into this port of entry so they can go out of their way instead of traveling those extra 20 miles and waiting in there in the little area that y'all have in Roma? Not unless you all expanded your...
Yeah, that's where we're headed. Definitely.
We don't, you know, Stark County is Stark County.
Understand, and we finally, when we first started meeting, it's not a competition.
No, that's what I was just about to say.
Either of the ports of entry, because like I said, in the grand scheme of things, the whole valley is nothing. There's so much cargo out there that there's more than enough for everybody. My recommendation, because he asked me a question the very first time that he attended one of our trade meetings, was how can we help? And I'm sure you remember the answer I gave you right away. We need for you to campaign for these crossings. So that's why I've been working with Alina. I really think that both the county, the city of Roma, the city of Rio can do a really good professional campaign effort to be able to promote the crossings.
It's not his job to do that. And I think that his mindset to try to promote it is spot on. It's our job to assist him because his job is to enforce it.
I can host all the visitors, but that's not my job to go and make your port of entry grow.
And as you mentioned, for us to attend those trade conferences, for example, and make sure we have a presence out there, or a booth, and so on, like we do. And I think that now that you're there, Mr. Guerra, and the fact that we've been meeting more often, and as long as we continue meeting and our EDC in our city continues to have more of that collaborative relationship with the port of entry, which for X reasons, let's say we didn't have it in the past, but now we do, and if we continue in that, I can definitely see us increasing the traffic through here easily.
It's a no-brainer.
Because
that's why you're going to see a lot of investment coming out of Roma, because it's a no-brainer. The hard work's been done. So to go back to your question, why you're not here, why not there, it goes back to we work on efficiencies, we work on customer service. It's building a lot of coalition, a lot of meetings, just like right now, I'm on my own time, I don't get paid after 4 o'clock. A lot of that to be able to attract them. The good thing is that the Mexican entities, the Mexican brokers are the same for both crossings. So that's an advantage for us. Mm-hmm. The disadvantage is a lot of our brokers from Roma are from the Valley area, and a lot of Rios are from Laredo. So I've already been attending meetings, trade meetings for Laredo, trying to pitch the crossings. Because I know that they're doing business through here, but they're not going to want to tell the big brokerships over there, by the way, I'm using Rio. Right. You've got a lot of that within themselves. But that's what we need to bring in more. But I think a combined effort between the counties and the cities, those, you know, for instance, you go to Viva Fresh, every year they have it in the state of Texas. You go out there, actually for the next, I think I mentioned to you, I mean, for the next trade symposium that we do for this area, because we started doing them here locally now. We go and be part of FARS. They give you 30 seconds to give a slideshow. They don't allow the trade community to have input. They're just there. So the attendance just keeps going down. Now, we did one at STC. We had 95 different brokers who were covering to show up. So the interest is there. We did reverse it. I'm there to show 2-3 slides, but I want to hear from you, the user of the port of entry. How can we get better? What do you need from us? And that's where I'm getting that we need some type of warehousing eventually. We need some type of transfer companies to be able to move. There's a lot of words might lose you, but there's a lot of in and out just here in the area. The commodity comes from Jalisco with their own traders. They drop it off in Palmaro. Now they need somebody to grab it here, take it to the warehouse and far. And that truck's got to come back and pick up another one the same day. We're in need of stuff like that to be able to do that. But I do a lot of outreach with the stakeholders.
So you need trucking companies, you need cold storages, you need warehousing, which we have acres and acres of, we can do up and behind the developments.
There is already plans for that, just next to the port of entry south of Walmart.
Correct.
And then we've talked about the potential of that growth and industry growth north on 755. So the area.
That loop is going to be another huge game changer.
That's what I'm saying, that infrastructure.
Right now, they got to drive through all these nights that are not synchronized, because I just realized when it took me 15 minutes for the port to get.
Sorry.
Yes.
He'll take that message back to his
Note.
We got to be going and stopping, versus if I get on that loop whenever it gets done, I'm going to fly all the way to the valley, and that's going to be a changer.
I understand.
But the end goal is to get those people to invest here. It feels really good when I took the city of Roma to go visit. Whenever y'all want to go visit, I can take you to some of these cold storages there. $17, $18 million investments. It felt really good to show in there and show the mayor that in that one warehouse, they had 100 truckloads of tomato. 100 truckloads, complete truckloads. Every single tomato had crossed the Roma. And from their office, we were seeing the port of entry far. Now, how do I get them to build it in Roma?
Right.
That's where we need help.
So I'm sure that the mayor and Dalida know how we can get in touch of potential investors into cold storages and warehousing. And we need to just be a bug in their ear and just keep on bugging them and showing them that we have plans. We have plans for that. Yeah, keep on knocking on their doors.
Right.
And we have plans for the loop that we have from the port of entry all the way back up north, 755. You know, I'm not talking, but I know TxDOT is thinking of expanding widening 755 all up to Brooks County.
I'm already getting questions, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm already starting to get questions with 755 that would be a heavyweight corridor.
Well, that I cannot answer for TxDOT.
No, I'm not saying that you can answer for TxDOT, but I'm just saying, do you see how we're having a different interest? Now we're not trying to go to FAR and catch 281. Because part of our pitching point is you can get out of here through 755.
Right.
Because all we need is for the guy to stop and buy a hamburger and put diesel. That's already stimulating your economy.
Right.
But if we ease that shipment out of here, and we get them there, I'll share this with you. We're going to start getting Bimbo bread. Bimbo's bread deal is one thing. If it takes him a day and a half to 2 days to cross the farm, by the time he gets, he drops the box, he gets in line, he crosses, he drops the box again. If I can put Bimbo bread in Chicago 1 day earlier, they'll give us all the Bimbo bread for this whole region, for the East Coast. That's why time is money. Yeah. So when you start getting these major carriers, and I'm not talking 20, 30 trucks that the company owns, I'm talking multi-hundred, and they start looking at these routes. That means they're not wanting to go so much that way. They want to get out of here and go north. And that should be part of our focus too.
Ever since we did this realignment of 755, we have seen an increase of 18 wheels, those trucks coming through 755, crossing through 1017, trying to get to 281. They turn on 1017 and come down Rio Grande instead of coming down through the valley area. And also they're coming down from the Laredo area down 1017, 2686, down 755. There's just, a massive amount of roads that they can take now. Now, that's the thing that I try to push here in Rio Grande, that,
which is not a bad thing.
Coming in and out of Rio Grande is going to be a lot simpler once we get State Loop 195 approved and funded, and this little loop here from the port of entry. And then maybe those potential investors will look into the area and investing into cold storages, because right now,
Have a permanent location.
I'll tell you one thing we did not see here that's big in the area is the automotive industry.
Yep.
And there's a lot of that we haven't even scratched. We don't have any of that coming through here. I've been working a lot with an association of carriers in Mexico, they started utilizing the port of Rio Grande City. They started sending us loads, variety, not, 4 or 5 a day, but that's the way they get started. They'll get started somewhere. But I know they have the capability of giving us some of that automotive industry stuff. So, I mean, there's so many, we can't just say, because I've been criticized, always, all you focus is on produce. No, I focus on produce because that's all I'm getting right now.
Right.
But if I was getting automotive,
You want that expensive.
all these companies, those are your large investments that will invest heavily.
Because then that changes your numbers that
Changes
you
everything.
report to the feds, and that brings more investment back to our.
But like I say, if any of y'all one of these days would like to visit, let me know.
That might be a nice field trip for you guys on a.
Just so you can see
The day
what
that
we
you have
actually
some
do
time.
in there to a certain extent. But there's a lot of potential for this area.
Oh, we know.
A lot. It's just unfortunately hasn't been pushed. We're one of the few counties that have 2 corridor crossings.
I know, right here.
And
But
Mr. Guerra, Freddie Guerra, and I.
2 corridor crossings, I'm sorry?
Mr. Guerra, Freddie Guerra, and I have met with yourself to go over some ideas, to put a campaign together, not to compete, but rather to complement each other, because we know, as Mr. Guerra said, there's enough business to go around to both ports. We just need to be visible, get out there, and
I even asked her how, I think you all have done a hell of a job as an EDC compared to Roman. What did you do different to try to take it over there? Because there's plenty of retail, there's plenty of everything for everybody. If we get hung up, it's take off Starbucks. I didn't get it. We're not going to get it.
no, we have a good working relationship with our neighbors.
Yeah,
in
Freddie's
Roma.
really good. I mean,
Yeah, and the mayor's great.
Our 2030 plan, we need to add this to our 2030 plan and push a little harder for it. And I think
2030, I won't be drinking.
I know, 8 years from now. Retired, it's only 8 years away. But you know what?
But you laid the foundation for that.
Exactly, because we don't know.
I'm kidding, it was in 2028.
Both of us.
No, I mean, a lot can be done. If we went from 23 trucks to 130, 100, up to 170 in Roma in less than 2.5 years, imagine what you can do when you already have the structure. You know very well how choked we're in Roma.
Oh, yes, that's why I'm saying that it's very hard.
9 of an acre as our cargo lot. But we're number 3 in produce in the Laredo field office. It's Laredo, FAR number 1, Laredo number 2, then Roma. We got more produce in Rio, we got more produce in Eagle Pass and Brownsville already.
Right.
So if you want to, you can do it. Here you got, that's a beauty of this.
And like you said, there is enough piece of the pie for everyone. There's the whole valley. So like you said, it's not competition. And I think our EDC, now that I know Ms. Guillen has been instrumental in visiting with you, and Mr. Guerra also from Roma, and our point of EDC is just to be cognizant of the fact of the value that we have here at the port of entry, and have that working relationship with you, and do our end as far as the promoting, the trade conferences, the support, the videos, whatever we need to do to attract more business this way, which in the turn will have more visitors here, plus all the retail that we have here in hotels. So
you all have several good carrier companies here. And I know you met with one of them. Talk to them, make the investment, go to the Viva Fresh. Hey, we're Grande City, we have a port of entry.
Yep.
Look at our port. You'll be amazed. That's where you start talking to people that are providing to HEB, Kroger's. Yeah, there still is Kroger's in Albertsons. In-N-Out Burgers, every time you eat an In-N-Out Burger, that tomato crust will go. Just remember that.
great.
Well, and like you're saying, if we set up a booth and you have a couple of these slides running in the background, that unified, what did you call
Cargo
that?
processing.
Yeah, that's very attractive to someone in the produce.
That cargo, most people don't get it. When Kia visited Roma, they didn't believe me. Even though they saw it firsthand in Roma, I had to bring them to Rio. And I forgot one thing here. This crossing and Progreso are the only 2 crossings that you can bring 2 40-footers put together.
The doble
Nowhere else in the southwest border. Only those 2 crossings because they're privately owned.
Yep.
He does not charge anybody to break that double and be DOT compliant to get back on the highway. That is another point that I don't know why it hasn't been. So when I brought Kia over, they couldn't believe the doubles. They asked for permission to take pictures and go back to court. What killed us there is we don't have that many trucking companies that cannot be as competitive when it comes to the rates. Because there was a lot of them.
So Viva Fresh is in April at the Gaylord in Dallas, and it starts off with a golf tournament, just saying.
We're there.
In April?
April 21st.
There's a worldwide one that just passed in October in New Orleans. So whenever it comes back to the U.S.
Oh yeah, this is the Texas International Produce Association.
Yes, that's Viva Fresh.
I have a cousin who's a member.
But yes,
Yeah.
those are the type of events. And eventually, try to hit the Mexican area, they have to have something very similar.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry, I took up a lot of time.
Thank
You
you.
did, it was very interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra.
It's just a
Yes,
very
thank
general
you.
overview. I mean, if you ever have questions, if there's any data that you need, please let me know. Our numbers usually take about a month after the quarter to be vetted and released, but
Right.
there's ways to work around that.
Yeah.
Also, you
You
get
said that.
And I know it doesn't help you, but just remember, you get 2 million cards, that's 4 million different people that are working on average. And you'll be amazed how these little vaccination clinics are building more and more relationships with the communities.
Yeah.
I didn't know who the mayor from General Treviño is, but now she calls me every other day. And that's how we need to build that relationship.
Wait till that Marshalls and that Ross opens up here. You're gonna see a lot more people crossing over.
That's why they're getting vaccinated.
You get them vaccinated.
You're gonna get them vaccinated. You're gonna see. They're gonna make you Port Director of the Year in 2000.
It doesn't matter. Well, it comes with a stipend.
I'll be very honest with you. I'm not making a single cent for taking over Rio. And you want for me to be sincere and honest with you, you probably think it's BS. You know why I want for this to work for both ports of entry? Because I grew up here. I took off to A&M thinking I'd never be back, to be very honest. I put in for Nogales, Arizona before I put in for Rome. I put for Laredo because my brother was already an officer in Laredo. With the intention, what am I going to come back and do here? It's time we grow. Everybody's going to have kids that are going to go get educated and they're going to leave. Why are they leaving?
Right.
Well, my son's studying to be a mechanical engineer, where he's going to find work here in this area.
Right.
He can find it in the valley, but he's not going to find it here. It's time.
Not yet.
So far, not yet.
Right. What class are you?
94.
You're behind me.
94.
You graduated, no, you went to school with Eddie, no? Eddie,
Eddie's my age. Eddie's my age. Was.
well, he graduated,
Actually, there was nobody really from Rio my age, but my cousins are Orlando Rodriguez.
Ah,
They
yes.
were all friends, and that's how you met Eddie.
Orlando was a year ahead of me at A&M.
todavía no armado.
There were like 7 of us from my class, from Rio Grande.
We were 6 from Roma in my class, but for real, there was not, I don't remember.
In
Well,
your
we
town.
hope to see the expansion, and we hope to see that the,
What does that do?
Port
Can
of
we see this area just poof?
yeah, we just gotta push for that loop. I wonder how we can do that. I don't know.
That loop is gonna be the difference maker, because if you can get them from this area to the valley, imagine if you can get them within 45 minutes, Jesus Christ.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Guerra.
thank you.
You all, or confuse you all. We're available, that's what we're here for. Let me know whatever you need.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you.
I know a lot of people in the produce industry because of my family history, and my cousin is still very involved because he has farms in Mexico, and he has a cold storage in FAR. So they,
So you can be the first one to move
well,
it.
I'm just saying that if you do something like at the produce things, you know, we have connections. We know a lot of people that do all that. Felo and Steffi Martinez, that's what Steffi's family does.
We
All
just
of the
need to
imports.
support the ideas and the
Yes.
concepts that he's bringing to this port so that we can further that investment into our area, because it is possible. He did
Yeah.
make that happen for Roma in 2 years. We have that ability here in Rio Grande, but we just need to align ourselves with on the same path. And we've done so already, putting the material together, together with Freddie and Mr. Guerra. I think we'll have a nice piece to share at this conference or these type of conferences. And of course, he does this on his own time, and I think it's really neat that we have someone like him that goes above and beyond because he cares about the future of our communities. So.
In fact, to continue on that note, I've actually brought in several individuals that he actually met with them personally and showed them around, gave them a tour, personal tour of the facility. So he's willing to set up the time for that, personally make the connection, go talk to individuals, give them first-hand information. And that is critical, and he's done it on multiple occasions already with several people.
He explained that you won't get a sit-down meeting with any port director here in Texas or anywhere else. He makes it a priority.
Because he's a local guy.
That he gives face time to those companies because they won't get it anywhere else, and he thinks that that is key. As he said, customer service is big on his list, and he lives that motto, you know. So we're lucky to have him. I'm glad he was able to join us.
And then talking about investment, you know, if we need to invest, we're looking at, we're hoping that our sales tax increases now that, you know, within the next 90 days, that we, you know, activities going on in the new development, and sales tax starts increasing and more revenue is coming in, we're gonna have more money to invest towards stuff like that, because it's time. Like you said, it's time for us to do something. It's not just going to benefit the city of Rio Grande, but it's going to benefit the whole Stark County area, and the city of Roma, city of La Grulla, Escobares, all the little municipalities around us. Hey, we're the seat of the county, and we need to set the example so that everybody can follow suit.
Very well said. Any other comments?
Just on that continued comment, we're looking, and by the way, EDC has done a tremendous job. We're looking at 2022, by the way. I was looking at some of the numbers, and we went around visiting some of the new spaces that will be erecting new buildings, and there's going to be over 20 new businesses coming to Rio Grande City in 2022. And that's conservative figure. So when you're looking at those numbers, we're going to see a lot of construction in the next year. And those will be starting in the next 90 days. So we're going to see a lot of movement. So, I mean,
look at
things are looking great.
Investment numbers, Mayor, the investment numbers that, you know, those properties that are going to be developed, you know, just in the border towns, you know, you're looking at $5 million of investment in the, you know, within this year.
Those two, right.
And then the rest of the other 12 locations that you saw, whatever it is, 18 locations. I mean, it's going to be massive.
I'm excited. 2022 is going to be awesome for us.
So get ready for a lot of groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings.
Yes.
Might need new shovels.
But going back to that, so it's retail, hospitality, and with this here, we can do light industry as well. And you're looking also performing arts, healthcare as well, which that's huge. So we're looking at excellent business opportunities coming up in 2022. So thank you to our EDC and certainly everyone that's part of our EDC for continuing to have this vision of forward progress, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it firsthand. So, Mr. President,
$250 million worth of investment within the next year.
Hey, you're looking at massive investments.
$250 million maybe.
And then again, the multiplier effect of what that does, it's looking great. So, again, get your shoes ready for the ribbon cuttings and your groundbreakings, which we're going to have plenty. So,
very good, Mayor. I think 2022 looks very bright, so we're excited about that. So, very good. Great presentation again. Thank you for inviting Mr. Guerra. Yes, very great presentation. I really enjoyed it. Moving on to item number 7, Main Street Advisory Board project updates. Who do we have here today?
Sarah's doing 2 jobs right now.
Okay.
Handling the camera, video, and Mr. Garcia is here on behalf of the advisory board. Welcome, Mr. Garcia.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So I'm Alfonso Garcia. I'm one of the advisory board members with the Main Street Board, and we're here to provide you guys with some updates on some of the projects that we've been working on. So within the next few seconds, you're going to be receiving a packet that has some of the updates that we have been working on as a board. So as you guys can open your packet, you guys can see some of the things that we've been doing for Thanksgiving. I know that we did next to the fire department, we put together a pumpkin patch and we made it a reality for our community. People didn't have to go to Maddie's pumpkin patch, and we made Maddie's the reality here in Starr County. So here in Rio Grande City, so that was really nice. That we were able to do that for our community.
And that was very nice, Mr. Garcia. We received a lot of great comments from that. So again, even though it's small, but just it was very well attended, and a lot of great comments from that. So thank you.
Of course, thank you. As you guys can see, next on the packet, we did celebrate Small Business Saturday. I know that some of the board members got together and they passed out some bags of some stuff to promote the different businesses. So that was nice to see. We also got to work on featuring some of the businesses on our advisory board page as well. And you guys can see some of the businesses that were featured, such as like Border Enterprise, Second Street Fashions, and a few others that are listed on here as well.
I run that Facebook page for Border. Oh. So I'm the one that shared that picture of Weddle.
Yay, I'm a believer.
Yeah,
it did have a lot of likes,
he did, and it got a lot of likes. People love my brother-in-law.
Yay.
That's nice.
One of the things that, you know, I was looking at the Christmas decorations and stuff, looks really nice at nighttime. And, you know, I was up in Del Rio, and I think I mentioned it to the mayor. I was up in Del Rio at the beginning of December, and they were announcing they had a contest of home decorations, of lighted homes decorating, you know. Wow. So they were announcing that on the radio as we're going in, and lo and behold, you know, we get to my son's apartment, and as we're driving through Del Rio and stuff, we see people literally going out of their way and decorating their homes and putting up lights and putting all these other things. I just don't know what the outcome was, but there were several people literally doing that, you know. And at nighttime, well, they would turn it on and see where they needed more lights and stuff, because we spent a couple of days there. And I said, you know, I'm going to bring that up to the Main Street, and maybe that y'all can consider doing something like that. I know it's not part of the Main Street, but even the businesses in the Main Street, if they decorate their front, their facade, or whatever it is, you know, and have something for residential, you know, and y'all cruise around and do something to that effect, and it'll light up more of Rio Grande, because you'll see one of the towns up in the San Antonio Hill Country area.
Fredericksburg?
No, Johnson City.
Okay.
You know, apparently they have over 1 million lights within.
Wow.
And they were spotted from the space station.
From the International Space Station.
They were spotted. Wow. So what happened was that they started having a lot of people go by there and go drive around. But, you know, there's more lights in downtown. It's looking really, really nice. And especially those new figurines, those deer. People tried shooting them, but, you know, they didn't work out.
Well, and we were in Bernie this weekend, and they had the same thing. The downtown was like, wow, just totally lit up. But they had a competition for businesses and for residential that the city ran, and they had everything on their city website, and they had like a list on their city website of different addresses to go see and see the lights, you know.
The city of Roma does that. I know they had announcements over the month of December, winners of those homes that, you know, went all out and dressed up their home with lights and such, so.
Well, I think Main Street won the commercial division, because, I mean, it was beautiful, but I think the city supplemented some of that stuff. So, I mean, of course, the Main Street program or whatever.
Right?
We'll definitely take that into consideration, and we'll definitely take those ideas to the board to see what we can do for the next holiday season.
But you all are doing a beautiful job. Downtown Rio looked wonderful. Every year things are being added, and it looks beautiful, and I hear a lot of wonderful comments.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
And I'm glad that you all are bringing up that. It is conflicted.
Go ahead, Ms. Lotus. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, I was saying that I'm glad that you all are bringing up that and possibly some sort of a sponsorship by the city, because I know that those have actually been talks that the Main Street Advisory Board has been having for a few months. And, you know, those were ideas that were already done by the board and things that we were looking forward to. Not this year, obviously, but for the following years to, you know, light up Main Street, like all those very quaint little downtown areas in other cities. That's the goal of the Main Street. So those are the discussions that have been ongoing with the board, and hopefully we can get that, you know, make that happen for next year. And thank you, Mr. Garcia. You all have done such a wonderful job. You all did this job, doing very wonderful projects this year. And I'm very proud that I, you know, had the opportunity to participate in all of those meetings with you. And you all are very creative and very downtown oriented, and we really appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. All right, so next, as you guys can see, we had one of the biggest events that we host as a Main Street, which is our tree lighting ceremony. I think that was very well attended. I think we've had like the biggest number of people attend this past year, so that was really nice to see as well. And we kept on with our tradition of having Christmas carolers down Main Street. That was also a really nice touch for the holiday season as well. And then to finalize our presentation, we did welcome 2 new board members, Ms. Iris Guerra and Ms. Leti Cantu. We're excited to have them on board and to see our board continue to grow so that we can continue to make projects a reality within the community as well. And then just to give you guys a quick preview on some upcoming projects that we are working on. We do have our second installment of our small business highlight videos and promotional giveaways. So I know that as a board, we are working on that. The next thing is our end of year reporting for national recognition. I know that Sarah does an amazing job of putting together all of the things that we need so that we can report it out for the national recognition. We are also working on some projects to update the Tijerina courtyard. I know that we're working on that as well. We are working on installing some promotional banners on Main Street and 2nd Street. I know that once the Christmas stuff comes down, that will be something that comes back up. And it'll be nice. It'll be a bright addition, I think, for the spring as we get into spring. And then, of course, the trolley tours. Does anybody have any questions?
On the trolley tours, now that we have the winter Texans that used to come down a lot, I remember back in the day, we used to have a lot of, and I think we still do. The past years, we had a lot of winter Texans come down and tour the area. Going back to Christmas decorations, going back to, you know, the school district, they did an outstanding job with the Festival of Lights that they did. If we were to promote more the trolley tours, promote them more, and have that contest, and maybe have tours with a trolley, you know, people pay to go see the lights and stuff like that as we go along, just for a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, you know, at a time. That brings in more revenue, and that, you know, through the EDC can help fund more of the Main Street program because of the promotional duties that you all do with the trolley. So promoting the trolley, especially this time of year, you know, I know with COVID and stuff, it's kind of hard, but you know, that's one thing that you all can be thinking about. You know, the trolley is there. We made a big investment on it, and maybe promote it a little bit more. I know with COVID, I'm going to repeat it again, but those are things that you all can think of. You know, how can we promote the trolley tour? Maybe some people would love to take the trolley into the school district with the Festival of Lights. Hope it continues. You know, take a tour around there, and then, you know, and go around the city, go around other places at nighttime. You know, and you know, there's several restaurants that are going to be opening up, and maybe they can stop in by, you know, get a cup of coffee or something or other, and then go on your way. But the trolley, I'd like to see more promotion on the trolley and get it done.
Definitely, we can jot that down as the next step, and we'll definitely look into seeing what we can do to promote that as well.
Don't have a question, but a comment. I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Garcia, Ms. Hernandez, to all the Main Street board. Y'all did a tremendous job with the lights this year. It was phenomenal. Our EDC did a tremendous job partnering up with, in the city, with the school district, and that was a success. This Festival of Lights, it was a huge success. It was incredible. This year, I think we're keep adding every single year. We had more, and by the way, those deer, those were phenomenal deer there. And if we can add more of that next year and every year, just make it bigger and better, it was wonderful. It was wonderful to see the collaborative effort of the Main Street, the EDC, the city, the school, and the community in general, you know, really getting into the spirit. And I think that's what's going to create even more spirit next year. And if we do have those contests and we do all this, that's going to be even better. So again, congratulations. Thank you for the work. And yes, you know, we can certainly jot down ideas for next year. But what you all did was phenomenal. So thank you so much and the Main Street Board, like I said, for the effort, the time, the commitment, dedication, you know, all those factors. So thank you so much for that, and certainly look forward to even bigger and better next year, as we always say that, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But thank you so much.
Of course, no, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well presented. All right, so moving on, if you guys, any other comments or questions this time? If not, we'll move on to the next item, which is adjournment, item number 9.
I think
Report, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm so moved. Oops. Back it up a little bit, item number 8, for some reason I checked it off. Okay, so.
One more.
Ms. Yin?
If that means we're doing an excellent job, then yeah.
yes.
Can Melissa pull it up on the screen? Is it working or not? Huh? Is the screen working or not?
For some reason it's not working.
Okay, that's fine. So in your packet, you have what I have submitted to the City Commission as far as activity over the last month. You're going to see the percent in sales tax change. This is based on the Comptroller's report in December of 2021. And then you see the unemployment, we steadily keep declining. So that's a really good thing. I wanted you all to see this because this is what I give the City Commission so that they're up to speed also on some of this data. But and when you have a chance and you want to read through that report, you're more than welcome to. But what I wanted to point out is, and as Sarah and Mr. Garcia mentioned earlier, you know, this downtown decorating and lighting. It was a huge effort on the part of the Main Street, on EDC, Public Works, Fire Department, PD. I mean, because it takes a lot of moving parts to get it all up. We've got to stop traffic. We've got to get guys up on bucket trucks. We've got to test light per light. I mean, and then plan where all of this is going to go. And I just, you know, I want to applaud Sarah. I know she also made it a point to go out of her way to make sure that we transitioned from the Thanksgiving setup at the fire department to the Christmas setup. And in both of those, we had a lot of people out there taking pictures with their families, you know, probably getting their Christmas cards set up with a lot of those backdrops. And so we're, you know, kudos to Sarah and the Main Street Advisory Board for all that hard work. And just so you know, all of that's gone down at the fire department. Wheelan and I cleared some space in the trolley shed for all of this stuff, Christmas stuff, and it keeps growing. So I'm going to ask that we consider additional storage for some of this stuff, because I can fit in a couple of trees and some decorations, but I don't think I can fit those deer that, yeah, so we're going to have to find a place, a home for them during the off season. December was incredible. Obviously, we had you know, the lighting of the tree, all of the lights downtown. We had a chamber parade, the lighted parade that came back this year. It was so nice to see everybody come together again. I don't know if you know, we literally got every car off of Main Street from Britain to Abasolo to clear those sidewalks for families to sit, watch, and enjoy the parade. And I walked the parade route at the end with my girls, and I could say that there were lots of happy faces. I mean, there were so many people there enjoying the time and the season, and of course we couldn't have done that without the support of so many people. Yourselves at the top of the list for letting us do this, the, you know, Public Works, PD, Main Street, the chamber, of course,
Chamber,
getting all
yes.
this organized.
You got the change.
Oh, and you have a major plus there with Kathy Rubio. She did a great job with all that as well.
Wonderful, yeah.
Yes.
She's been a great addition to the team, and we enjoy working with her. We're actually going to be working with her and Sarah on the trolley tours, so you know, we're looking forward to that tourism activity picking up. But in the middle of all that, you all, you know, approved a contract for some promotions, and we had Michael Salgado at, you know, at the fort, and all those lights, snow slide, which I was disappointed to see only happen 1 out of the 2 nights, so maybe the district will consider keeping it an extra day next year. That was such a popular ride for the kids who didn't get to see snow or have never seen anything like snow. The line was long, it was fun. I can say that it's only going to get better next year. And after the parade and an exhausting first week in December, the mayor, Ms. Perez, myself, Commissioner Escobedo, flew out to Las Vegas to go make some contacts, some leads at the ICSC Recon Conference. And there's a few photos. I know this kind of got cut off, but we made some really good contacts while we were there. And I can say that there's some projects that will come out of those meetings, and we just, you know, when the time is right, we'll make those announcements. But I think that when they look at the Valley participation at some of these events, and I speak for, you know, the partnership, the Rio Grande Valley Partnership, who organized this welcome reception for all of the EDCs, you know, they are starting to see that Rio Grande is doing some really amazing things. And so I was very honored to have my board members, mayor, present with me, supporting us in that networking. And, you know, we have a long way to go, but lots of great work nonetheless. You know, the city had a holiday dinner when we got back, and I want to thank Angela, because I know that in the middle of all this traveling arrangements and booking electricians for lights here and there, she still found the time to, and process POs, which are very important. She still managed to work with Melissa on getting this beautiful dinner organized for our city staff. And so we enjoyed a nice dinner here mid-month. And Commissioner, Mayor, thank you for doing that for us, because I think it was time for us to come together and celebrate as a
She
city
didn't only
family.
help with the dinner, she helped with getting all the lights put out here as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Melissa and Angela are responsible for making sure that we lit up the City Hall over the holiday season too. And I think those are slowly coming down. But I know you guys worked really hard and stayed late to clean up. And thank you, Melissa and Angela, for all that work. I know it was exhausting. December was an exhausting month for all of us. So going to the following week, you know, we're getting ready to go out on our Christmas break, and of course we're all excited, getting ready for the holiday. And then we hear word that Panda's getting ready to open, and sure enough, we were there the day of. The mayor did a live feed from the Panda Express to announce that they were coming to open their doors that day. We had a flood of calls in our office, everyone wanting to know, are they gonna open? Are they gonna open? And I don't know about you, but on day 2, I was there at Panda Express, and the lines were very long, but the people there, the workers were nonstop, making sure that everyone was getting served. And I don't think I saw them, you know, even go up for a breath to make sure that their clients, their customers were getting their orders. The food is great, obviously. The lines are still long, which is excellent. And it'll continue for a good while. I think there's a lot of speculation about what's coming next. And of course, you know, we do have some contracts that you guys have allowed me to proceed with. And so we should be making some announcements very soon on some of those projects. But, you know, congratulations to Panda Express on their opening. And maybe they'll, we can have some Panda Express for dinner one night at one of our meetings. If you all want. I know everybody's on a health kick for January.
February 1st.
February might be a little bit better.
Forget
for
the New Year's
everybody.
resolution.
They have some grilled things
They
with
do.
veggies.
They do.
Teriyaki chicken is.
Yes.
And their staff is working, you know, very, very hard, and I know that they would really like to see us there. And so, anyway, we do have the Winter Texan Expo that is coming up here January 18th and 19th. Going back to the trolley tours, just this week, Sarah, myself, Aminta, and Wile met to kind of go over the plan for trolley tours this season. The question was, are we going to proceed with tours given the condition of COVID? And I don't know about you, but you know, I traveled this holiday, as some of you did, and cities are open. And they're just being careful. And that's all we can do, as far as I know, is be as careful as possible. If there's people that want to come and visit and enjoy our city, let's allow them to come and see it and enjoy it, but be safe in the process. So we talked about, and this is a plan I had already submitted to the city way back when we reopened, that we would beef up the PPE equipment for our driver and our tour guide, make sure that we're following disinfection, you know, protocols between tours. We think we're going to start out with maybe one tour a day to see how that goes. Reduce the size of the number of people on the bus to half, because we can fit 30 people, but we want to give everyone some space. So we're going to go down to about 15 or 16 people per tour. And of course, Sarah and Kathy will be setting up at this Winter Texan Expo to start promoting the tours, to start inviting those Winter Texan parks to come and join us. So I'm looking forward to a really good year. Our Winter Texans are starting to come out in small little groups, but coming January through March, you're going to see, you know, they're going to be around a lot more so when the weather's nice and they have some time to visit not only Rio Grande, but we get calls about how can we get to Roma. Of course, we only do the tour here in Rio Grande, but I'll give Freddie a call and he'll facilitate the other half of that tour. The Chile Showdown is coming up at the end of this month. We are headlining this event with Los Palominos. I can only imagine what our downtown is going to look like with that band performing there on Britain Avenue at the Kiosco. Mari at the bank has been very supportive. They're getting ready to allow us to use their area there to entertain those cooking teams and vendors. We do have the same concept of no entry fee, which makes it extremely attractive, but with the jackpots that are also very popular. I think we paid out, I don't know, close to
$1,500 last year.
Yeah, the year before.
The year before, last year.
The year before. And it keeps growing as more people are hearing and learning. Now, Fred, you might want to mention that you've had conversations with some other teams that have regularly joined us.
Yes.
There's another competition.
There's I have like 5 or 6 teams that come out from out of town, and I usually tell them, you know, you're coming into Rio, at least purchase, you know, your main ingredients here, you know, that'll help us not charge the entry fee, because that'll come back and go, don't worry about that. We've been doing that, you know, stop at HEB or stop. Some shop at the border town up in Alto Bonito, and this year I told them we have some locally. We have 2, you know, that they can shop at. But there is a big cook-off that weekend up in San Antonio, and the reason they moved it because of COVID and stuff like that. Things are happening. But out of the 5 teams, I think 2 or 3 are going to make it down here that weekend, and we're hoping that, you know, the last cook-off we had 33 teams that showed up. And I'm not looking at 33 teams because of the spike in COVID cases. I'm looking more, you know, it's going to scale back a little bit, but that's okay, because we need to keep our city moving. And I think that we need to, you know, let the people know that it's okay to be out, but just be careful. Be safe. You know, be safe. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and get vaccinated. That's plain and simple. But I have had several calls asking me, and I started promoting it a week ago on the Facebook pages that I'm on with cooking, you know, different barbecues and stuff like that. And I will update it here tomorrow or later on this evening and start pushing it a little bit more. But it has been a good, the Chile Showdown has been really good to us. It's brought in people, and I think with the lineup, with the music lineup, we're gonna bring in some folks. LNF Distributors is gonna be pushing the Bud Select beer. It's 90 calories, so everybody that's gonna be on those calorie diets or whatever, 2 grams or whatever it is that they're on. I'm not on it, but still, it's going to be Bud Select that's going to be a sponsor, and you know, hopefully we have a good crowd, and you know, we'll just move forward with it.
We might not have as many teams as far as competing, but people, we're going to have a lot of people. There's no doubt.
Right.
It will be well attended, because Palominos, obviously, they have a strong following, so I think that in itself will attract a lot of people.
Right, and this weekend, the Stark County Fair is having their cook-off this weekend, so that's going to be I will be attending that one to promote the Chile Showdown there. I promoted the Chile Showdown back in November at the McAllen Convention Center. There was a cook-off there. There's a total of 20 teams, and 4 of those teams says, hey, we're looking to go out there and go see what Rio Grande is all about. A lot of people haven't been to Rio Grande. Believe me, some of those people have never been to Rio Grande.
And we have people that have contacted our office from Roma that have been attendees or participants in the cook-off, and they're like, are y'all going to have it again this year, because we want to go. So it's not just for people here in Rio Grande. We get people from Roma, McAllen,
yes,
you know, Mercedes, from the valley, entire valley, come out and join us.
So there's few cook-offs coming up here within the next couple of weeks. We got one at the fair this weekend. I think there's another one in FAR next weekend. So I'll probably be attending that one just to pass out flyers. That's what I do usually when I promote this cook-off. So
new entry peach cobbler. So ladies, I'm not just saying ladies, but you know, if you have a recipe, a killer recipe for peach cobbler, you know, there's some chance to win some good money.
yeah.
And last but not least, and this is just transitioning into February, we are working with our partner at Workforce Solutions to host our annual Employer Expo and Job Fair. So we'll be having this on February 2nd and 3rd at UTRGV Stark County campus. We'll have a workshop the day before with the public library where they'll do resume writing, interviewing skills, dress for success. And then on February 3rd, we'll have employers out there at the university campus to take in some resumes and possibly schedule some of those interviews and hire our employees. But as I said earlier, our unemployment continues to decline in small increments, and events like these only help put people to work. So we're looking forward to that event as well.
Here in Rio Grande, in Stark County area, I see a lot of, we're hiring. We're hiring, you know, apply within. Is there something that we can talk to all those businesses and have a little fair, you know, a job fair within our own city, you know, bring them in and see if people show up, see if they can get to work?
Well, this job fair is open to any employer that's hiring in Rio Grande, whether they're big and small. If we know of employers that are hiring, even if it's the local Texas Cafe that's looking for, you know, wait staff, they can participate. There's no fee for them to be there. In fact, all they need to do is just bring, you know, maybe an application form that can be set up.
Maybe promote it in the social media for the local businesses to attend. That, you know,
we do get locals, but there are a couple of restaurants that have hiring signs up that I know of. We'll reach out to them individually on social media to let them know. Before you go, I wanted to share with you our updated economic snapshot. Melinda put a lot of time and effort in updating our snapshot. This is what we took with us to ICSC. This is what we give to investors that are wanting to know a little bit more about the area. We incorporated some new features to this. We added a couple of QR codes to make it interactive. We also included some real life business stories, which I think those testimonials really help tell the story of how you can come to Rio Grande and be successful in your new business, and you know, there's proof of that. So thank you, Melinda, for that. I know that this took a lot of time, and it was all in the middle of getting ready for the holidays. So Melinda put in a lot of time and spent a lot of time in her office getting this updated. But nonetheless, it looks as great as all her work does. So thank you for this. So we have this in electronic version as well. So if you feel like you want to share it with somebody, just let me know and we'll send you a link. We also have these on USB so that anyone that just needs to carry it with them on a USB can do so. And we have those available in our office. And that's it for my report.
All right.
As I said, we have an exciting new year ahead. We have, you know, some announcements that will be made very soon. And so just be on the lookout for calls or emails from us, just letting you know what's going to be happening in the next several weeks.
Well, thank you, Ms. Guillen. Congratulations to all the staff and again, everybody, you know, involved with the EDC and of course the City of Rio Grande. A lot of great work, a lot of great projects, and again, looking forward to 2022, like the mayor said, a lot of great projects, new business coming to our city. And again, looking forward to, again, prosperity and growth. And all I want to say, just take care of yourselves. Again, this COVID thing is, again, back up. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and again, just be careful, guys. Social distance much you can, and stay safe. All right, so with that being said, any other comments at this time?
Just to echo those comments, Commissioner, 2021 was a great year for EDC. But 2022 is going to be even better than 2021. What is on the horizon is just exceptional, and cannot wait to have all these new businesses just popping up everywhere and all these new announcements that we have. So to our EDC, excellent job. Staff, excellent job what you're doing. And to our board, excellent vision and moving forward in all these projects. I mean, we are in a great position, cannot state that enough. Or even, I'm being conservative when I say that because there's so much happening, and looking forward to 2022. So again, thank you so much for the time, effort, dedication, commitment with what you do, and to our board.
No, thank you, Mayor, for those comments. Yeah, very well said. Thank you all so much. Anybody else?
Yes, and Melinda, this is amazing. And you mentioned all the growth, but I love that we're also supporting the ones who are already here. And Becky's one of my dearest friends, and she mentioned to me that a package was delivered to her pharmacy from the EDC and the city. And she was just so grateful because they've done so much, all of our healthcare workers, our pharmacies. And honoring them with the parade was a wonderful idea because they deserve it beyond, you know, but these businesses like Lino's Pharmacy that have been here for decades and who support our community and all of our community events, and then help throughout this pandemic and have worked themselves to the bone, you know, they're just, we've got some amazing people in Rio Grande, and it's nice to see them honored and recognized.
And that's why the small business highlight is a big deal for us, because any big retailer can come and be successful, but it's when your small mom and pop shop can pull it off and be in business as long as Becky has, and as long as Mr. Peña will be, you know, that tells a story that there is an opportunity here in Rio Grande, so it makes our sell to bigger corporations a lot easier.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because the same day that we did the live feed for Panda Express, that same day I did a live feed with Texas Cafe and promoting Ms. Becky Garza's treasure, Texas treasure. And you're right. I mean, we need to definitely promote both when you're looking at the new, but also those treasures that we have here, and promoting them as well. So, and we did. So just continue that because it works for everyone. It can work for everyone. And of course, our Texas treasure there with Cafe, and several others have been in business for over 40, 50, 60 years. We
have an application that's already been somewhat complete. We just need to get it through either Senator Zaffarini or my husband Ryan to push it through. We're waiting for the next legislative session so that it goes through the circles. But the other business that we have in mind for Texas Treasures is Gatos. Gatos has been around almost just as long as Texas Cafe, and they've already submitted all the paperwork, we've done all the research, the documentation is there. We just need you know, the officials to sign off on that application.
Wonderful. And how long do they have to be around?
You have to be in business, I think gosh, I want to say that they lowered it to like 35, 40 years, but they've been around longer than that. And they have, we've had to research documents that this application for Texas Cafe wasn't easy. But the library has such an awesome archive of material.
Yes.
And thanks to Norma, we were able to get what we needed for Texas Cafe and for Gatos. And so, you know, there's a timing to submit these because, as Sarah mentioned earlier, she has an annual report to the Texas Main Street program. If you time your application correctly, it'll only boost your points for accreditation. So we're still good. I think we still have enough activity to keep us good, but this will just put us over the top.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Very well. Thank you so much for those comments. This time, moving on to the item number 9.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. This time it is 7:12 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.